This is the Noli Tyotin, and this will be the first hardtail that I've actually ever really ridden. I've borrowed this bike from Noli, and if you want to try one out, you can head over to Kinetic Cycles in Coquitlam, and they've got a large and medium you can take out on demo. I'm 6 feet and decided to try out the large. You can look through all the stats and stuff on their website. It's all very nicely laid out. But the major things are it's a 495mm reach, there's a 427mm rear center, a 64.5 degree head tube angle. This is the steel version, but they also make a titanium version, which I'd love to try. But the only changes I've made to this, I've put on my own 5-dev pedals, and I've also put on my Noble TR37s. Since I've never really ridden a hardtail before, and I'm used to having at least 170mm of travel in the rear, I suspect that when I try to ride this bike pretty hard, I'm going to definitely ding the rim. And you know, I didn't want to ruin Noli's nice demo wheels, decided to put my own on, and I know they can take it. It is running 150mm Fox 36 up front right now, but you can actually put up to 170mm fork on this bike as well. There's also a ton of fancy engineering that's gone into this, and I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but Noel, the engineer at Noli, has done a great job sort of explaining everything on their website, so I encourage you, if you're interested, click on the website, go check it out. But I think that's enough talking. Let's go ride this thing on the shore. Here on Seymour, just climbing up. People are probably wondering how this thing climbs. Climbs fine, it's very comfortable. I think modern full suspensions these days, especially with the lockout, climb just fine. So I think the biggest thing that affects the way a bike's gonna climb is probably the tires and somewhat the weight of the bike. But yeah, for any road climbs or just dirt paths or whatever, this more or less feels the same as my Chilcotin. Where it's a little more fun on the climbs is the tech stuff, because you can be a lot more precise, power to the rear wheels a little bit better, and hop around and maneuver a little bit more. But other than that, yeah, climb's nice. But that's not what you want to see. Let's skip ahead to the top. All right, on to the usual test spot. Weird bunny hopping a hardtail. This is Corkscrew, single black tech trail here on the shore. Oh yeah. Now it's obviously rougher on the hardtail, especially with 150 wheel fork. Now the geometry of this bike really makes me want to ride the exact same way I always do. But I have to remember I've got less suspension in the front and no suspension in the rear. So when I make those mistakes, maybe ding a rock or something, it's a little bit more punishment for it. Yeah, the one thing I'm really noticing here is there's a much bigger reward for smooth lines than on a big enduro bike. On the big enduro bikes and the downhill bikes, you can just plow, of course, for the most part. But on a hardtail, yeah, you really want to find those smooth lines. And when you do, it feels great. Noticeably nicer than romping some rough line. All right, this is Pingu. This is just one trail where the big rompy 29er is pretty ideal. And yeah, gonna take it a little easy, huh? Noli's probably pretty happy that I decided to put my own wheels on here. Woo! Nice new jump, thanks to the NSMBA. Awesome. Woo! Let's see. Long and low, yeah. Nice. Obviously the hardtail jumps very nicely. But you don't want to make any mistakes and jump into something rocky and rooty. You're going to be in for a bit of a rodeo. Alright, this is Boogeyman, double black tech trail here. Let's see if the hardtail can handle the double black. Well, more like, can I handle the double black on a hardtail? Ooh, yeah, it's definitely kind of a different technique, obviously, to riding the hardtail. My usual just go straight and try and roll everything technique isn't working out as well. I also think clips on the hardtail make a lot of sense, because it would be nice to know my feet are in the pedals, because obviously without that rear suspension your feet get bounced up a little bit. But this low speed tech stuff, I mean, this part's not too low speed, but that's where I'm liking the hardtail. I don't feel too much of a difference. Anything low speed and tech. And then the biggest difference is the high speed chonk. Anything that's remotely bike park-ish definitely is gonna be a little scary. But even this stuff, like anything that you want to be precise on, yes, hardtail feels very precise. But the geo numbers make it pretty stable. It's a bit hard to explain, but that's just how it feels. Yeah, I'd say like a move like this is a little more fun on the hardtail. You can be really precise. You can just boop, move things around. And then things like this drooler too. Woo-hoo. Are not too bad on the hardtail. Not too bad, yeah. Ooh, be nice and precise there. Get that skinny. Yeah, chonking. Let's just jump that. Whee! Yeah, so I definitely can't ride at my limit, both in terms of speed and the scariness of the features. I'd be willing to ride. I can kind of tone it down a little bit, and it definitely makes the more tame trails more fun, for sure. Because you've got to use more skill, more technique, get those smooth lines. And obviously I know a lot of you out there ride hardtails, and I've got friends who ride hardtails who are better than I am on their hardtail than I am on my biggest of enduros. So it's definitely not the bike. Whew. Yeah, the simplicity of this bike too is something I really like, and something I miss from BMX. Just having fewer moving parts, fewer things to care about, easier to get your bike nice and tuned and solid, because this bike feels so nice and solid, which is really nice feeling. It's like it's both obviously rougher because of the no suspension, but just so nice and solid. And when you're expecting it, you know you're riding a hardtail, you just compensate and enjoy the thud. Whee! The hardtail feels so zippy. It's a different kind of cornering. You can't like push into the suspension and spring out. So I'm having trouble switching up my technique a little bit, but it does feel, you just, obviously the power just goes right in there. no suspension. This is the end of Boogeyman, where things get very tech, very fast. Definitely one of the more challenging parts on the mountain. But you can go quite slow. So I think this is where the hardtail is going to be just fine. Because yeah, you can just kind of choose your line, just wrap. Okay. Let's take this line, seems smooth. Yeah, this bike is both, it's like rougher than I was expecting, but also not. Should we try the drop? Okay, let's go try the drop at the end of Boogeyman here. Pile driver. Go nice and slow. Okay. Whew. That wasn't too bad at all. Yeah, it's my first chance to really ride a hardtail, so I have no intuition for what's going to be too rough and what's going to be just fine. But I am also amazed at, yeah, how easy it is just to ride. I mean, that's basically what I would ride anyway, and more or less how I would ride. It'd be a little slower, a little rougher, but yeah, if you're looking for something like pretty unique, a little bit different, something where you want to, you know, it really feels really good, really zippy on the tech climbs, really fast in tamer trails. But if you also want to work on your technique, or you just want a really light bike, or, you know, a simpler bike, or a lot of times a less expensive bike, hardtails, they're great. Yeah, you can do all the same stuff on them, just a little different, of course. So this is Empress, another slow double black tech trail, and I think it'll be totally fine on the hardtail. Because again, it's a little chonky, but if we choose our lines just right, we'll smooth it out. No problem. And of course it is a little tech, but you know, you can move the bike around so easily here. I feel very in tune with what the bike is doing as well. It's like, woohoo! It's like I know exactly where the wheels are, what they're feeling, how the grip is. It's like the bike is more so an extension of my body. I can almost, you feel things a little bit more as more feedback making it to you. Yeah, which is pretty cool. And all right, so I hope you enjoyed my first real ride on a hardtail. It's always hard to articulate how these things feel and who the bike would be the best for and all my thoughts, especially as I'm riding it and it's all happening in real time. But I hope some of the yammering on that I did made sense and it was at least entertaining. Maybe one day I'll get a hardtail. Definitely liking it. It's a lot of fun. It's a different kind of fun, like I've said. It's for maybe someone who wants to do a slightly different style of riding than how I ride right now. But if I had slightly more time, and you know what, this would be a great winter bike for me here. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one.